Fox 11 investigates tonight, and it's the case of a Marinette man who is behind bars after he was convicted of lying to get welfare benefits. His story, that his ex-wife was dead and his children were living with him. Why did it take 2 years to find out that the story wasn't true? The answer might surprise you. Here now is Robert Hornacek.
This is Stephen Gillis. He's serving a 1-year sentence for welfare fraud at the Marinette County Jail.
I did what I had to do to survive.
How'd he get here? It all began in 2008 when he walked into the Marinette County office to apply for food stamps and medical assistance.
One of my many jobs before becoming an engineer, I was an actor.
So you put on an act?
Oh, I put on my best Academy Award.
Gillis's act worked and allowed him to pull in more than $8,000 in taxpayer benefits over a 2-year period.
The information I gave them was accurate to a point.
County officials had no idea what Gillis was up to.
Did anyone check into his story, or did they simply just take his word for it?
If we have all the required verifications at time of application and nothing is questionable, we approve the benefits.
So how did Gillis work the system?
I said I had 2 kids, 2 children, and this is a birth certificate, Social Security card, and they're living with me.
But he had to stretch the truth to get what he wanted.
When it came to the question of there's no wife in the house, I said, no, there's no woman there in the house. I just didn't correct it.
They said that you told them she had died.
I told her that she departed.
That she departed?
She departed.
So you led them to believe that she was dead?
I didn't correct their assumption.
That she was dead?
Right.
If his wife were dead, or in his words, departed, it would make sense for Gillis to have the children. Why did that matter? Money. According to court records, Gillis did not qualify for any benefits unless he had his children in the home. By claiming the children lived with him, Gillis was able to rake in thousands of your tax dollars to pay for his groceries and doctor visits. There was just one problem. His story wasn't true.
Why wouldn't you just tell them the full story? Is it because if you did, you wouldn't get the benefits?
I wouldn't get medical, that's for sure.
This is the house where Gillis said he was living when he was receiving those taxpayer-funded benefits, but court records show that his children never lived here. They've never even lived in Marinette. In fact, they've never even been to Wisconsin. They live here in Toledo, Ohio. And remember that wife who was supposedly dead? Well, it turns out she's very much alive.
First, if you just tell me your name.
Okay. It's Joanna Truesdell.
And you're alive.
I am alive.
Joanna Truesdell divorced Stephen Gillis in 2006.
It's really, really hard for a mom to have to tell their kids that their dad is doing this.
She and Gillis's 2 children live 500 miles from where Gillis had said the children were living. Fox 11 Investigates traveled to Ohio to meet Truesdell.
What was it like for you to find out that your ex-husband had led people to believe you were dead and that the children were living with him so he could get these benefits?
I was kind of floored by that. That was huge. It was kind of one of those, oh my God, are you kidding me?
A guy coming in saying his wife's not around with 2 kids is not unusual.
It's not unusual at all.
Chris Parkansky oversees the public assistance benefits in Marinette County.
Should someone have checked to see that the kids were actually in Wisconsin?
Unless we have question that the kids, unless something would have triggered the worker to question that the kids were residing with him, you know, that check wouldn't have been done.
Parkansky says under the state and federal rules for the programs, caseworkers are only allowed to verify certain information.
So you verify if they live in Wisconsin, you verify their income to qualify, and the rest of the application you pretty much have to take their word for it.
Pretty much, it's self-declared.
Unless something raises a red flag. And in his case, nothing raised a red flag.
Correct.
You knew what you had to say to get the benefits.
Oh, yes.
The first red flag in Gillis's story didn't pop up until July of 2010. His caseworker received an alert that Gillis's food stamp card was being used in Massachusetts. According to court documents, when the investigator asked Gillis why he was in Massachusetts, he simply said he was on vacation, but they found he was working there. So even though he was out of state, he was still getting his taxpayer-funded benefits from Wisconsin.
It was a day-to-day, week-to-week job. It would end any moment.
That day-to-day job lasted for 6 months. Sandra Wagas is the fraud investigator who worked the Gillis case.
Is it too easy to work the system today?
I think so, yeah.
What could be done about that?
Requiring verification of more of the information that's provided and a good thorough job on the initial application.
Parkansky says caseworkers used to verify more information, but in the last decade, the state and federal government made it easier to get benefits. That can leave the system open to abuse.
How many Stephen Gillises do you think are out there?
I would generously say maybe 15, 20%. The majority of people are here because they need to be here.
Is there really any way to know?
Not precisely, no. I mean, you know, does everybody get caught with fraud? No. I think the majority of people eventually get caught, but there's no way that we can, you know, catch everybody.
Should they have verified the information you gave them?
Yes.
Even though Gillis is serving his time and has already paid back the $8,000 worth of benefits he received, don't expect any apologies from him.
Was what you did right or wrong?
Within the boundaries of the system, using the words of the system, I did no wrong.
For Fox 11 Investigates, I'm Robert Hornacek.
Have a good one.